as part of this year's Youth Expressions Festival at the South African State Theatre, a new production is taking centre stage. It's called Khanya and Her Golden Dream, directed by Sibahle Mabaso and starring rising talent Nancy Nkatshela. The play tells the story of a young girl named Khanya who moves with the family to Johannesburg, the so-called city of gold, in search of a better life. And so we're now joined by director Sibahle Mabaso and lead actress Nancy Nkatshela to unpack the creative process, the themes, and also just explore the impact of this production as well. Good morning to the both of you, and thank you for joining us at this hour.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, we are delighted to have you both here. And as we continue with this chat, Sibahle, let me start with you. How did Khanya and Her Golden Dream come to be part of this year's Youth Expressions Festival? Tell us a little bit more about what went into that.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for that question. So Khanya actually started at Dexmat, Gaga, which is an initiative that they run for text. So you present your text and then you get some feedback from theatre patrons and how it can grow. So it started from there. And after that, we then got an opportunity to showcase at the Vrystaat Kunstefees, which is hosted here in Bloemfontein. And then around that time, it was 2023, actually, there was a call out for the Youth Expressions Festival. And I found that Khanya would be a lovely fit for it. The themes, it's proudly South African. Yeah. So we applied for it. And then around about July last year, then we heard back from the theatre that they would love to host the show. So our journey, we had quite a waiting period. But since then, it's just been upwards and onwards with the team. Yeah.
Wow. It's obviously, it's drawing on important themes. And you're right. It's a truly, proudly and loudly South African story. And so, Nancy, when you look at the script and perhaps what first drew you to the character of Khanya, tell us what it means to you, contrasting Kanya's hopes even with the harsh urban realities that she's faced with. Tell us a little bit more about the character's journey.
Khanya has a very emotional journey because she's just a child who comes from a home. She did not have parents in the beginning because her parents passed away while she was very young. But then she meets this new family who decides to take her to the City of Gold. Obviously, as a child, she has her own hopes about the City of Gold, hoping to see everything that is golden. But unfortunately, that's not the situation for Khanya. And for me, the character, it's very emotional because people expect the City of Gold to be golden the way that Khanya does. But the honest truth is it's not.
So it's the age-old saying that all that glitters isn't gold. But I mean, there's a magical twist in the story as well. And I don't want to give away too much, but Khanya does wish upon a star. And so obviously you're introducing fantasy elements as well with real-world struggles. And so balancing that, perhaps also sticking to what the important themes are. I mean, tell us a little bit more about that creative process as well, Sibahle, if you want to weigh in there.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I think the fantasy element for us is very closely related to it being for young audiences and how a lot of the play is also centered around imagining. It's imagining a better future. And it allows for us to make those contrasts between Egoli, which is the City of Gold as we know it, and the real imagined City of Gold that Khanya really hoped to see with the golden streets and the golden whatnot. So she gets a portion of that dream in that fantasy world after wishing on a star. But then she quickly realizes that it's not the same as well. And the lessons that she learns there then carry over into Egoli. So that fantasy world is just for us because we live in this imaginative world within the play, and for the kiddies as well to be able to just imagine soaring into another world, because then we can play around with anthropomorphic animals, we can play around with rivers that can speak. There's a lot that you can then do in that fantasy world that children can also relate to. Then it starts feeling more homely, because for the start of the show, it's kind of, we're painting the world as we know it, the village in South Africa as we know it, Egoli as we know it, as we encounter it. And then that fantasy world is really hyper real and allows for us to tackle some of those themes in a way that closely relates to our young ones. Yeah.
And it's perhaps also serves as an escapism of sorts, given how heavy some of the themes are. And Nancy, in preparing for the role, I mean, one thing that one is aware of as a human, as what constitutes the human experience as emotions, right? And so when you have to tap into those emotionally challenging parts, the scenes that call for that. Tell us how you prepare for that performance at large.
Well, in order to prepare for the performance at large, I need to think back to when I was about Khanya's age and how I reacted to certain situations. Obviously, Khanya goes through things that I personally haven't been through, but because it's a character, I need to bring it to life as authentically as I can. So then my acting skills kind of come into play with that. And where the emotions need to pull through for the scenes, they do pull through. And I'm very proud.
Yes, and it's a moment to reflect. It's a moment to heal as well, to have those internal conversations. And this production, it being part of a festival focused on youth voices, how do you both think the arts helps youth or young people process their emotions, their realities, perhaps also reimagine what is possible and heal at large?
A big cliche that we use, which is so true, is that, theater is a mirror to society. Yeah. And I find that with theater, you're able to package things in such a way that even if it may be something that is hard to take, that would be difficult for you to take or to understand or relate to outside, theatre gives you that opportunity to see yourself reflected on stage. And I think what's important that the festival does and what the show does is that there's something there for everyone. You will be able to relate to Khanya's sense of disappointment. You'll be able to relate to the parents' hopes and dreams. You'll be able to relate to wanting a better future. A lot of us want that for ourselves, and a lot of us have commuted to other places in hopes of better opportunities and better futures. And it's not only about that, because Khanya is also a call for action, for environmental change, and really just being the change that you wish to see in the world around you, and knowing that even though our circumstances and the inequalities are so clear and so stark, there's still something that you can do at the end of the day, because what's rooted in the production as well is that sense of ubuntu. What we're trying to do also is to let the audience resonate and be empathetic with what's happening on stage, and also feel as if they can also go outside and do that same thing, just to ignite that sense of empathy for the people around you, for the unhoused around you, for the environment around you, to want to just pick up that piece of paper, which is also a large part of it, because when Khanya gets there, she asks, but why is it like this?
Yes.
Why there's so many people? Yes, sorry.
Yes, I need to wrap up, so I wanted us to get Nancy's, final thoughts on its impact, yes.
I do feel like it has a very huge impact on everyone, not only for kiddies, because it has teaching moments for everyone. Specifically with older people, I could say it teaches them how to resonate with kids' feelings, because most old people do not regard kids' feelings. And also, as Siba said, when Khanya gets to the city of gold, she asks, why is there so much rubbish on the floor? Why is that man eating from the bin? And why are those ones over there sleeping on the cold floor? Yeah. Which, unfortunately, is the harsh reality.
Nancy, it's a conversation starter. It's a form of escapism. It's an entertainment as well. Thank you for joining us and for speaking to us about, this offering. Director Sibahle Mabaso and lead actress Nancy Nkatshela unpacking Khanya and her golden dream. That stage play, of course, happening at the Malombo Theatre between the 15th of May and the 25th of May. It's part of the South African State Theatre's Youth Expressions Festival.